friends, and welcome to knitting at the Boxerville Homestead. Today is August 17th. Wow, that's amazing. 2023. I am coming to you from the beautiful Pacific Northwest, where we have had, in my opinion, a heat wave. It has been in the upper well, it's been 96, 97 the last couple of days, and prior to that, like mid 80s. Sophia, hey baby girl, in the mid 80s to upper 80s, which still, in my liking, is still too hot. As I've mentioned many times before, I'm a 75-degree girl with a good breeze. So hang on, because I'm going to try to, I wanted to do it outside, but I don't know how long I'm going to last out here, especially in a sweater. Anyway, I want to give a big thank you to my returning viewers. You guys are amazing, and I appreciate each and every one of you. If you are a returning viewer but you've not yet subscribed, if you would please consider subscribing, liking the video, dropping me a comment where you're from. I really enjoy reading the comments. Actually, John and I both do. And just seeing where everyone is from. It is such a big world, but such a small community when you really put it in perspective, of what we all do with our hands, with our makes. It's pretty cool, I think. Right, Sophia? So, onward. It is hot. But again, I just wanted to give a special thank you to all my returning viewers. And if you're new, welcome. I hope you stay. I am not typical in that I tend to bounce around a little bit. I have a hard time staying on track. That's my nature. And I don't always have just knitting. I will throw in a dog rescue, which you can, there's Sophia. You're really big into dog rescue, in particular the boxer breed, which we have had 13 of them. I'll also show you some of my garden, which today hopefully I'll remember to put something in because we are eating everything. Cucumbers, onions, the sweet peas we cut every couple of days. That just makes the house smell so lovely. Beans, we made our first big batch of beans, whatever you want to call it. Amazing. My bean patch is always huge. I usually can 25 to 40 quarts of beans. It kind of depends if I have any left over and what the season is like. They're amazing. We snap them, fry some bacon, leave the fat in it. I know, listen, I'm a pretty healthy cooker, but there are a few things that I do leave the fat in. This is being one of them. Anyway, I cut the bacon up, fry it, leave the fat in it, put the beans in it, sear the beans into the fat and the bacon, then pour cold water on it, really cold water on it. And yes, it does set the fat to the bean, but trust me, it's worth it. Cover the beans with cold water by a couple inches, season them, salt, pepper, whatever you like. I just do it pretty simple. And then I cook them way down for several hours. It's a meal in itself. They are delicious. So that's my little tip today for fresh gardening stuff. But also, my gosh, we've had zucchini, beets, carrots. What else have we been eating? All sorts of different types of lettuces, romaine, which I just started another batch because I like to kind of spread it through the season along with our hoop house. And I'm trying to visualize, tomatoes like crazy. Is that it? Dill, basil, pretty much everything now is edible and ready. And the cucumbers, oh my gosh. Try to pick them in the morning, put it so they can go in the fridge. I hear a hummingbird. They're getting very low on food, and one of them's reminding me. I love to put the cucumbers in the fridge in the morning and then slice them for the evening just to snack on, and they're so crisp and cool. It's amazing. So back to the knitting so I can take this off. I hope you're all sitting down. When I tell you this, if you've been around a while, you know the trouble that Felix and I had. We almost broke up completely. It was, and it has been a long, ugly, tumultuous relationship. However, here's the hummingbird. However, he's done. finally, and I really love it, and believe it or not, I would knit it again. So this is the Felix pullover sweater. Did I say cardigan earlier? I want to make one, but that's another story. By Amy Christophers, or Christophers, I'm not sure how she says her name. Oh, that breeze is lovely. It is knit in a US size 10. It says to do ribbing cast-offs in an 8. I actually did it in a 9. I wanted a little looser, and plus I do a twisted, is it a twist? It's a sewn bind-off. It's what I like. And it's really the Kitchener stitch, so I don't know the proper name for it. If you do know the proper name, would you like drop it for me? Because I literally put the all the way around, like on the bottom when I did the bind off. I literally have 2 sets of needles because I have all the knit stitches in the front and all the purl stitches on the back needle all the way around. And then of course the setup row is a little bit different to start, but then I literally Kitchener stitch. So knit, purl, purl, knit, knit, take off, purl, leave on, purl, take off, knit, leave on. And I do that the whole way around. And I think it gives a really lovely edge, which I'll stand up. Hopefully I can show. But I like the looks of the edge. I just think it looks nice. It's rolled. No ends are woven in yet. I can see them hanging. It's still actually damp, and that's probably why I can stand to still wear it. I took a little video, and I will try to remember, I'll scoot over a little bit, to insert it right here. Hopefully I'll remember. Otherwise, you kind of got the gist of it. Sleeves I made a little longer. I tend to like on a sweater, especially if it's a cardigan, I like a bracelet length because I like my watch to be out. But we all know, okay, for the new people, I did this yoke, I bet 5 times. It's the most aggravating thing I've ever done in my knitting life, and I'm 59 years old. I've been knitting since I was a kid. This is the most aggravating thing I ever did, and the only thing I did wrong was my yarn overs. I was doing wrong, and I don't know why, because I know how to do a yarn over. Menopause, I don't know what it was, but I was not getting, oh my gosh, I don't even want to go back through it again because it kind of makes my heart pound. Anyway, 5 or 6 times. Also, I knit one sleeve like way longer than the other one. Again, I don't know what, John and I maybe were watching a movie that was a little intense. So when I like was done with it and I held it up like this and I was like, what? And I called John, I'm like, look at this and tell me, do you see something wrong with this? And he said, yeah, one arm is made for a Neanderthal. So back ripped out. I was actually thinking about doing sweater surgery on that, but I opted not to. I pulled it back and I re-knit the cuff. Twisted rib, which I love, is my favorite. And then I like the sewn bind off. I just think the round part of it is nice. So got it done the first time, literally done this time. Sleeves are proper this time. Yoke is good. Bound off, tried it on. I thought that might be a little too cropped, but I'm gonna black it. I'm gonna block it. So I did. And you know, it was fine if I would have wore it with a dress. High-waisted jeans would have been fine, but it just wasn't hitting me where I thought I wanted it to. So once again, pulled out all that ribbing, and you know what a bugger it is on the sewn bind off to undo that. That's where I considered cutting it, but I didn't. Went back up and I re-knit probably not quite 10 centimeters or 4 inches, probably like 3 and 7, maybe 3 inches, 7-ish centimeters, somewhere in there. And then redo the ribbing. Another bind off on it. By this time I'm getting really good at that. And then I soaked it, and like I mentioned, it's still actually damp, and that's probably why I'm still wearing it, because I don't know if I said it, I think it was 86 degrees when I came out. But as you can tell with my hair blowing and the leaves behind us, we have a pretty decent breeze. So it actually, I'm gonna be okay for a little bit. Maybe the whole thing, who knows? Me and Felix. So yeah, Felix and I were back together, and we have an understanding, and I actually think I want to knit another pullover jumper, but I think I really want to do also the cardigan. Now I was just watching Arbor on A Lovely Yarn, which I'm sure everybody here is subscribed to her. If you're not, check her out, she's amazing. She has the same aesthetics as I do, or I have the same as her because I tend to copy her. One of my ranunculus that I knit exactly in the same, I happen to have the same Madeline Tosh calligraphy yarn, and I knit the same one. And she was just talking about measurements and sweaters this last video that she put up, and it was pretty fascinating. She has been having issues with getting proper sizing with her sweaters, and she had mentioned that she had been measuring full bust, which I tend to do only because I'm larger busted for my size, and I gotta make sure there's enough room in there for the girls. She was saying that what had she knit? I can't remember the name of it. It's beautifully done, and she had it in her heart she's going to take it all back. But measuring now upper bust, and she's getting a better fit, she feels. So I did my upper bust measurement, and that makes me really very leery in knitting a size at this point. I think I'll stick with full, but it's fascinating how she spoke about it, and I encourage you all to go watch that video, her last podcast, and even if it's just for that part, although the whole thing's good. She's amazing. I love her. Anyways, this is knit out of Madeline Tosh. It is the Tosh Merino, and I can't remember. I want to say it's in the chunky, although this really doesn't appear chunky to me. It's more like a DK, heavy DK is what it feels like, but it's their, I believe it is their chunky. And I can't remember the number or the name. It's in several previous, it's probably in a lot of the podcasts in the previous things, because I have waxed poetic on this thing to the point y'all are probably sick and tired of it, but it's done. And Felix and I are back on common ground again. And I'll knit another one. So, finished object, other than I need to weave in the ends, and it's still wet, but boy, it feels good. Other thing is, I have two little finished objects, but they count because I was told early on in my podcasting when I said, do washcloths, dishcloths really count as finished objects? And I was told, indeed they do. So here are two more. This is made out of sugar and cream in the, I can't remember the name, colorway, but sugar and cream, lilies. This is just the corner to corner one, and I know I do it different every time I do one. Sometimes I put the little loopies in, sometimes I don't. Just doesn't, I guess whatever I feel like. I like to have something like this. It's a quick finish, and ooh, I finished something. And I want to get busy doing some of these. There's a few people that I'd like to gift them to this coming season. One in particular is, well, there's several. I do specialized IV. I do IV starts that this clinic can't get. So they're difficult IV starts for the staff that's there. And because of my experience as an ER nurse of a lot of years. I've been in the ER 21 years, I think, this year. Doesn't matter, a long time. I've had a lot of experience starting IVs, so I go in one day a week and do the difficult IV starts. And there are a couple of the patients in particular. Oh my gosh, they bring me flowers, they bring me candy, all sorts of things, because they're so happy to only get stuck one time. So I want to do like a stack maybe of 3 of them and put like some twine or something around it to be able to give them a little something, because they know I knit. I always bring my knitting in so I can knit in between. keep my hands busy, and because I love doing it, and why not? So that's what I'm going to do. This is knitting. This is just something that I started in a bag a long time ago, crocheting, and I think I started like in the center here. I have no clue what stitches these are, because you know that my crochet skills are like not top notch. Anyway, I did this back and forth thing, and then I started going around it in a granny square stitch, and I thought I would get all the way around, but I didn't, so we had to cut off a little early, and I really had nothing left of it, but it will work just fine. This is going to be mine. This is not a giveaway, because it's kind of, you know, clanky looking, a little dodgy, but it's going to be a great one. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to put it in the fifth wheel, and I'll get to use it this weekend, and I'll tell you about that at the end. I never really do, or do I do life updates? I don't think I do. I mean, I do some, telling you guys about what we're up to, but I figured maybe I'd start doing a little bit more. So, finished object number 3. Okay, what else do we have on here? Whips. So, I am still so in love with my Arboreal sweater that I am knitting. This is a pattern by Jennifer Steingass, and it is in black and white where I printed it. I love this, and I think this is another one that Amber of A Lovely Yarn knit, is how I saw it and decided I needed it. I am knitting it in, the kid, he just has to, I wonder if that's going to be too loud. He's on that stinking motorcycle. I'll be so glad for school to start back. I am knitting it in Patagonia, Juniper Moon Farm Patagonia Organic Merino, and in the colors Cinnamon, which is 113, and Ivory, which I think is 116. It's upside down looking for me, so I'm not sure. Oh, that child. And I love it, and I'm so tickled by it. I love the colors. Oh my gosh. Oops. And I cannot wait to have it finished. I am knitting the 3rd size, which is going to give me probably 4 to 5 inches of positive ease. It is on needles that are scrunched up right now, so it's hard to actually see, but it's going to give me probably, I mean, it's not going to be a lot of positive ease. I think doing it again, I would have went up even 1 more size. I got gauge. As y'all know, I did a gauge swatch. I've turned over a whole new leaf. That's one thing with the podcasting. It's made me be more conscious of gauge swatching. But you know what? Swatches lie. They really lie. Because even though I'm getting gauge, this isn't measuring out. I mean, it's measuring out within a gnats, but not totally. But it's going to be fine. I've tried it on. It fits great. I still have some ease. I was thinking about, but now it's a little too late, of doing some German short row bust darts in it. And that is something I've never done, but I want to try it, and I may try it in a neck sweater. I watched a podcast yesterday, and it was an old one, and I don't remember the name of it, but in all of her sweaters, she did German short row bust darts. And while it was visible when she would turn to the side like this, from the front on, it was not at all, and there was no change in the shape of her sweater. It had a beautiful shape, and I thought, I need to try that. Have any of you guys tried that? If you have, what do you use? Do you use a German short row? How far in do you measure? I don't know. I've never done that, but it's something that I would like to try, and I'm going to investigate. But I love the neck on it. I just think it's going to be so much fun. I'm so tickled to wear it. I am down to just a little bit, which I don't even know where it is now. Here it is. Of actually the first skein of yarn. I usually do the first whole skein on the body, and then I do my arms, sleeves, because as I've mentioned many times before, as with second sleeve syndrome, or second sock syndrome, I get second sleeve syndrome. So I usually do those 2 at a time, and as soon as I run out of the first ball. So that's going to happen soon. And even though they're the same lot number, I'm a little nervous. I don't know why about it being different color. I don't think it will be, but I think I will maybe leave on a few grams, and then I'll do just change out for the last 3 or 4 rows on the body when I come back to it. It's kind of my thinking now. This is knit on a US 5 needle. I believe that is even the called for needle size on Chiagu, however you say it. Once I started with these red lace cords, they're amazing. I love the no memory part of it. You know, sleeves. I was thinking about sleeves the other day, and I used to always do my sleeves on DPNs, and I switched and did one on a magic, see the hummingbird, on a magic loop, and let's see, you can see him. And I noticed that I didn't get the laddering with the magic loop as I did with the DPNs, because with the magic loop, look, he's just busy boy eating. I changed where I pull it out each time. Ooh, there's an evildoer. Do you guys call moths evildoers? I do. Even my husband now will call him an evildoer. Because they eat our wool. Or they lay eggs in them and it puts holes in them. Naughty thing, go away. Sleeves. So I started doing a magic loop, and I like that a lot better because of the fact that I don't get a ladder. However, I've not done 9-inch circulars yet on a sleeve. So another question, anybody use a 9-inch circular for their sleeves? If you do, how does that work? I'm knitting my husband's socks, 1 pair of them, on the 9-inch circulars now. And I know I can't knit terribly long on them. They do hurt my hands, but they are also a size, what do I knit John's socks in? 2.75s. So they are, is that right? No. It's a US 2. Yeah, I think. I don't know. Doesn't matter, small. And I do, after a while, like maybe 6, 8, 10 rows, I start to get some cramping in my thumbs. So I don't know if I would if it was a bigger needle and a US 9. I'd be curious if any, or a US 9, a 9-inch. So I would be curious if any of you do that, and if so, how does it work for you? Because I'd be willing to invest in them if it's like, you know, a slick way to go. I'm always up to try something new, but anyway, I love this. I can't wait for it to be done, although I'm really enjoying the process. Well, I especially enjoyed this process because who doesn't like color work, right? So that's the Arboreal by Jennifer Steingass. And my goal is to have it done by September 1st-ish. And hopefully we'll get fall and this heat will leave us. I'm such a native. I mean, I'm so ready for rain. I can't even tell you. I am still working on this. I don't even know what to call it anymore. It started out as one thing, and it's a huge blanket triangle wrap. I am crocheting it out of Line brand, the mandala, and the color is Centaur, C-E-N-T-A-U-R. I'm not sure how that's pronounced, Centaur. It is on a hook H as in Harry, a 5mm. And you guys, it's huge. But I'm gonna finish the second ball. What did we decide they were? Cakes? Huge things. And it's beautiful, and there's no way you'll see it all, but maybe I'll get a picture of it where you can see all of it. I love it. So does Sophie, come to find out. I find her wrapped in it a lot because I keep it on my chair. And if you look close, see all the Sophie hairs in it? Yeah, because she wraps up in it, and that's absolutely fine with me. I've not only knit my hair into it, but hers as well. But it really is, it's big. Isn't it pretty? I love it. Can't wait for it to be chilly enough to wrap in it. I know so many people love the summer heat, and it's just, I'm ready for cozy. Making soup, snuggling in blankets, knitting, listening to podcasts. It's a perfect life, isn't it? Nice cup of tea. So that's the Schlanket. It's ongoing. I would like to get it done. We're actually heading out on a camping trip, and I would like to get it done on this one because I'm going to have a lot of car knitting, which I don't mind traveling so far. I love the fact that I can sit and knit or crochet. I don't pull the trailer as much as John. I can pull it just fine, back it up. It's no problem because I've always done it. He likes to drive, I think I've mentioned before, and I like him to drive because I can knit and crochet. So, it seems like I've just kind of ran into trouble here this year with sweaters and such. And I believe I told you about John's sweater that I did run into an issue with it. As far as sizing, again, I did. I guess I should tell you first, it's the Hot Toddy Hoodie by Nittitude, and her name is Chantel Mayagashima, I want to say. I am knitting this and tinking back in this out of Rowan Felted Tweed. Oh, that's a good wrinkle, Carol. Nice work. I didn't even tell you my name. Lord have mercy. It's Carol. Surprise if you're new. With a K. And a Y. I'll put it on the screen. It's a pretty, actually, accurate. It might be a tiny bit lighter. Yeah, like, this is totally it right here. This has a little speckle of, wouldn't really call it blue. It's almost like a little speckle of periwinkle, kind of. And then that grayish with a little dot of white here and there as well. Anyway, it is by Rowan. It is a 50 wool, 25 alpaca, 25 viscose. And it's aluminum. That's not right. The number's not right. 720. It's a different number. So it says 720 on here, and I really searched trying to find the number and the color. And I found the color, and it is aluminum, but the number on this one is incorrect. Or it's an older version, because when I bought this for, I don't remember. Doesn't matter. Aluminum. Rowan Felted Tweed. Tweed! I can't even talk. Let me have a drink. Water. Okay, so I got gauge on it, Lord, and this was going to be a surprise for John's 60th birthday, which he will be 60 next week, 22nd. I can't believe my husband's going to, I'm right behind him, but it's weird to say. Any of you that have been there, it's weird, right? 30 was my hardest birthday ever. 40 I didn't really mind, and 50 didn't seem like much. 60 is really making me have all the feels of, it's weird. So I again got through the first ball, I guess it was, on this, and decided to start the sleeves. followed per pattern, like I mentioned, got gauge. And I held it up against John's. He has a couple of other hoodie sweaters. I didn't make them, but he wears them quite often in the winter, and they look really nice on him, I think. And I held it up against it, and the shoulders and everything looked fine, and so I continued on working on the arms, 2 at a time as I do. And I thought, you know, I should go up and look again, and I did, and I was like, that's not gonna fit. So I thought, well, I'll soak and block it and see how much it grows. Sounds like a prying vehicle. If you can hear the noise, I'm sorry. Between that and the motorcycle, it's probably driving you crazy. So I soaked and blocked it, held it up against the sweater again after it dried, and I looked at it and I thought, it's not gonna fit him. John's lost a lot of weight since last winter. However, he hasn't lost it in his arms. He's a big built man. Big arms, big wrists. And so I thought I have to tell him, and I did. I believe I went through this last time. But for those of you that are new and just learned my name, by the way, this is how we roll here. So I told him about it, and he was so touched. But we both thought, so he tried it on, and while it fit, it was tight in the arms. So I finally, this morning when I wasn't sleeping during the night, actually it was about 1 in the morning when I was up, I tinked all the way back. So we are back to, they're still connected because I left it at the connecting point. We're back to this, the back, the shoulders, down the sleeves, and I'll start the sleeves again. It took me a week or two, maybe 2 weeks, because I think it's 2 weeks since I podcast. So a little before I really even could yank all that knitting out of the sleeves, because I was quite a ways into them. So it took me a while before I could do it, and John understands, and he will get it, and it's an Aran weight, is that right? It's quite, yeah, it's an Aran weight, so it does go relatively quick, although it still, of course, needs the hood, rest of the body, and the trim, or the armbands, cuffs, and waistband. But just kind of an update. I did finally pull him back. I'll bring it with us on this trip. Pick up, now I can try it on him as I go, and just do the sleeves purposely for his body shape. So that's the Hot Toddy hoodie. That is the only, that's the end of the whip parade here, which really wasn't much. I didn't show much today. I have a couple of other things that just need a tiny bit left, like those tanks that I've been doing. I just have like to see. I've mentioned how I don't like seaming, right? It's gonna be, I should be wearing that today instead of this, and it's starting to dry more and I'm starting to get warm. So I wanted to, we can just touch with the vault for those of you that are new. I'll try to remember to tag the vault and what the vault actually is. It's my spare bedroom upstairs, full of yarn, wool, fleece, some fabric, mostly yarn, a sewing machine, Cricut, things like that. But my husband named the vault a long time ago for obvious reasons. There's a lot of money in there. So my only acquisition is this. Is this gorgeous or what? And I already have it on my face. Or what? Maybe that's on my iPad. So this is Arboreal. I bought this in Ocean Shores on our last little event. No, I didn't. Ilwaco. I bought it in Ilwaco, which we'll be going to again, although we won't. I don't think we'll quite make, we might make the Saturday market. Anyway, this came from Pearly Shell Fiber Arts, and Pearly Shell is their local yarn store. They're in Ilwaco, right on the water. It's really beautiful. They've been there for quite some time. Over the years, I've bought probably more fleece than yarn from them, I think. Anyway, it's Arboreal. It's 2 ounce blended, and it's beautiful. And I think I will probably, I'm going to spin it, obviously. I thought about doing it on my drop spindle, but I think I'll probably spin it on the bug and use it for a hat for John. A really warm, woolly, nice hat. And, you know, I don't know if there's probably a few people that watch this that don't spin. This is a braid the way they come. And the way that, it's almost like a crochet the way that they're put together. As far as the braids, that's literally how they're braided in together. And there is a right way, a right direction, I guess I should say, and a direction that's not going to be as easy to spin when you are messing with. And this happens, there's a lot of veg matter in this. This is kind of stuff I love. But as you can see, this direction drafts so nice. This will be so beautiful to spin. Cordell is, I love it to spin anyway. It's lovely. But look at the draft on that. Oh, it's beautiful. So I am anxious to get into that. I do have, I guess I've shown my wheel, but I haven't shown what I have on it. I have just a little bit of this fiber left to spin and ply, and then I can pull it off of the ladybug and then do this. But I just wanted to, I don't know if it's showing up. Oh, it's so just marshmallowy, squishy. Oh, it's beautiful. And like with everything else here, it has Sophie's hair on it. Truly it does. Can you see the little white hairs, like right there? That's Sophie's hair. So I'll spin some of that into it too. As a matter of fact, I think I saved some of her hair last winter. I should spin it into this. John would love that. So that's the only acquisition to the vault. And just real quick on a couple of books that I've been, actually just finished one book called Wild by Cheryl Strayed. It was also made into a 2014 film that Ruth Witherspoon acted in. I have not seen it, but I looked it up and it says it's on Amazon Prime. I tend to like to either read or listen to the books before I listen to till I watch the movies, and I'll watch it now. But it's about a young gal that really went through a lot in her 20s, losing her mother. My mom died when I was 24. However, I didn't hike the trail. I had just become engaged, I think. Is that right? I was 23 I was 24 when my mom died, because she died February. I turned 25 in June, and we were married in December. Not that you care. I'm just saying. I guess what my point was is that I can relate to a young woman losing her mother at such a stage in life where everything is, you're coming into all of this womanhood, and you're getting married, and you know, you haven't been married, and you haven't had any children, and you haven't, you know, really settled into your life, really, at that point. Anyway, I highly recommend it, the listen or the read. I'm not sure about the film yet, but Wild by Cheryl Strayed, S-T-R-A-Y-E-D. If I could take it off, then you would see the front of it. Let me see if I can just show you a quick of what the cover looks like. So you can screenshot it, maybe. Really good. And also, because I download a lot of books from the library, I'm having to use the Libby app. I can't even talk. The Libby app now, which I've grown to like. I was really dragging my feet. I used Overdrive for years. Overdrive went away, so now it's Libby or nothing, and I actually like it. So the book now that I have checked out, and I do check out quite a few knitting books online, and that way I know whether or not I want to buy it, or maybe it's just one pattern in it that really I find that I would like to do, and so it's nice to be able to check it out. And this funnel neck, I don't remember if I talked about it, pullover, I really like it, and I think John would really like it. And it is in the book called Boyfriend Sweaters. I'm trying to see if I can show you the cover. There we go. And it actually has quite a few sweaters in it that are, I find quite attractive. And I just checked it out from my library. It's by Bruce Weinstein. 368 pages. It's a pretty good size book. I don't remember how many sweaters are in it total, but it might be one if you have access to being able to pick up books through your local library. I highly recommend it. That's the only thing I use for my online books, and mostly I only listen to them. That is my preferred method because I can knit or spin or sew or take care of the home. I can then put it onto the car, listen to it when I'm driving, and I know I go through, I'm able to get a lot more covered this way, because just sitting with a book, I mean, you guys probably have me figured out by now, I don't sit still very easy, so to sit and hold a book, it's really hard for me to concentrate. I get more out of an audiobook. And I know you've seen these before, but because I'm going camping this weekend, and this is this could kind of be a little personal stuff in here, not personal, but about our life. And if that's something that you're not interested in, you were just here for the knitting, thank you for coming. This isn't going to be much longer, but I just wanted to just kind of do a heads up on what we've been up to and what we are heading out to do. So we're going camping. We are going to stay down on the Oregon coast. As I mentioned, John's going to be 22, so I kind of set this up secretly with his boss, and I just told him that, honey, you need to get the trailer ready because we're leaving here in 2 days. Actually, no, not even 2 days. So we're leaving in a day, and it needs to be ready to go, which it pretty much is anyway. Anyway, these are my camping socks. These are by Gray Owl Knits, and I can't remember the name of them right now, but I knit these out of Spud and Chloe sock yarn, which I'd never use again. I hate it. Absolutely. I threw, actually, what was left of it away. That's how much I hated it. I did, as you can all tell, this is a top-down pattern, really easy to follow. Little trailer, tent. I don't tent camp. I trailer camp only. I'm a princess when it comes to that, self-admit it. But it was really a great pattern. I started out doing the Eye of Partridge heel. I don't know. I just did a heel. This is Carol for you. But it was easy to follow. The only thing I did different is I did not, yes I did, and this is what I would do different. I went up per the instructions in the pattern, one size larger on the needle. For the color work, I wouldn't do it again. I personally wouldn't do it. I've done a lot of color work, and I don't need to do that because I understand the importance of wraps and turns, good Lord, right? The floats, I know to give enough for the float, so it's never been an issue with me, but I just thought with a pair of socks, I'm gonna do it. I don't want it to be like pinching my legs so tight. Now it kind of feels a little ruched on me. Regardless, great pattern. Really, it's a paid-for pattern, well written. I just did, you know, of course you can do whatever you want. I did opposite toes as the tent and the trailer. Anyway, I'm bringing these out because we are going camping. Like I said, and I only use these when we go camping. So that's when you'll see these. When you see these come up, you know we're going camping. And did I mention to you guys about going up to Linden, Washington, which is up right on the Canadian border at the crossings, actually. It's about an hour, 10 minutes for us, something like that, depending upon traffic in Bellingham. And John, his work truck that he uses for, the truck he uses for work to haul his diesel tanks and equipment needs, toolbox and stuff in, it was new a year ago. Yeah, he's had it a year, and it needed some warranty work done. So I followed him up there, and we had a great time in Linden, just dinking around shopping. I've been to a couple of the yarn stores because we were up there before when the truck was bought. And I went to a garage sale, and look at this cute little basket. And it is a Longaberger basket. And the cool thing is it has plastic liner. Actually, it looks new, and it has all the paperwork inside of it under the plastic liner. Isn't that cool? And I'm not a collector of these. I do have several, and they were all given to me, and I've thought about getting rid of them. But when I saw this one, I thought this would make a really cute little yarn basket, project basket. And this is what I gave for it. $5. And it's in perfect condition. The leather's great. I think it's pretty cool. What have we been doing otherwise? Gardening. Canning zucchini relish, canning jams. We're about to can the little wild blackberries. I think we ended up with enough for 8 pies in the freezer. They're our favorite. They're amazing. As a matter of fact, that's what John wants for his birthday cake. And he actually wants it as a crisp and not a pie this time. So we will be bringing the blackberries with us, and I have everything to make a pie crust, or crisp rather, in the 5th wheel already. We have just basically been fighting the heat for one thing, because neither of us really are fans of anything that hot, and mostly trying to keep everything watered and not dying. We have spent a lot of time in the pool. We don't heat our pool, but it has been up to like 85, 88 degrees, and today I just looked at it and it's 90 degrees. This morning when John was getting ready for work and fixing to leave, it was almost 5 a.m. and I walked out and just stuck my hand in it, and it felt like bath water because it was only 67 or 68 degrees. That's pretty warm for 5 o'clock in the morning here, but still the pool was much warmer. So John loves it when it's that warm. He spends more time in it. I like it about 80, 82 tops. So we've been doing that, and now just getting ready to take off for the Oregon coast, which is so beautiful. I will take some pictures and put some up on, maybe some up on Instagram. I don't know if I said where you guys can even find me. See, this is how, and I wrote it down on my little list here, but do you think no. So you can find me on Instagram as BoxervilleHomestead, on Ravelry as nittennurse, and our email address at BoxervilleHomestead@gmail.com. And I think that is all I have to share with you guys today. But I thank you for coming along and sticking along. I see we're at 50 minutes. I thought it would be much quicker, and I'm definitely ready to take the sweater off. But I can't think of anything else to really tell you. Chance and Sophie are doing great. They're gonna be so tickled to get also out of this heat. And they love playing on the beach anyway. And we love watching them and the hiking. It's good to get away. I have a very dear friend that's coming to do some watering for me. Check on our chicken. I worry about Bernadette because she's so old. She's our 12-year-old chicken, and she likes a charcuterie plate every night. So I will make some of those up and put them in the fridge so that my friend Leila can just bring her that in the evening. I guess that's it. I can't think of anything else. So, as always, if if you are in the market for a new four-legged family member, I would hope that you would please consider to adopt in that shop, because the life you save may very well be your best friend. Have a wonderful weekend whenever you see this, and I look forward to seeing you very soon.